COD as an esport, more than any other esport, is built on passion. It's built on the work that people do off the camera, behind the scenes, all the hours and scrims, eights, VOD, refining the little details that matter more and more the higher you go. The drive of the competitors is what pushes this community forward. Passion can take anyone who is naturally talented, which God knows there are a lot, and push them to greatness. I don't think there's a trait that a player needs more than any other. That's why we see so many players retire early, even if they have the talent to keep playing. It's because their passion falls away. It is the most important fuel for any player that wants to compete at a high level. Unfortunately, you can't teach passion.
Hello, my name is Isaiah Marcellus. I'm from North Carolina in the Raleigh Durham area, and I'm studying information technology. Um, I guess it's a normal. I say just a normal college student. I play video games, basketball, football on the side, just fun with homies. Really just enjoying life. I would say he do because my time was during COVID, so it's really not too much to do, but be inside and do schoolwork. So yeah, that was really my life before Call of Duty. I think it was two instances. One time, my first time realized that I could probably do Call of Duty for real during Cold Wars on console, and I was playing with some guys that were pretty good at the time, like top 16, top 32, like winning leagues and stuff. And I was playing Ace with them, and I was just just filling the gaps, playing time, and I made a couple plays during that. So I was like, okay, I could probably do this. And then I would say MW2 when I'm on my first like leagues comp wise and was placing high in leagues. I was like, yeah, I can really compete at a high level. Uh, I would say Tom. That's the number one thing. Um, because you put in a lot of time scrimming, at least 2 times a day, maybe even three. Playing late at night, he was his eights, just playing the game in general. S&D, you got to make sure S&D is good. Shooting bots, you got to make sure your aim is always good. Got to get 1,000 day relationships. It definitely costs family time relationships. I would say in that aspect, if like people around you don't know what it takes to be competitive, so you might miss a couple family days or like vacation time, or you might not be able to hang out with your homies the same like you used to. So yeah, relationships and time are definitely the two big things. A commitment too. Just like if you to play a sport competitively, you got to make sure you're committed to it. I probably say my biggest thing people miss. I probably my trash talk. They think I do it because I just want to trash talk, but I understand that as an aspect of the video game and gaming and competitiveness in itself. I either do it to hype myself up for one, or just motivate my teammates. Because once they hear me talking trash, they're like, "Yo, Isaiah's locked in." I'm locked in too, and they get confidence. Or to just crush my opponent's, ego. Cause once they hear me talking trash, they're like, "Dang, bro, he just popped a three. He's yelling at me. I don't think I can do it, or whatever that case may be." So yeah, trash talk, and shooting bodies. From when I started coming to competitive Call of Duty, that was a big thing that I watch people do. Even just do my research on it. People would trash talk, shoot bodies, to get in your head. Nowadays, people that's frowned upon. People don't like when you do those things. So yeah, I think that's probably my biggest misconception. I would say I'm more the leader on the squad, other than my teammate Ice, who's been with the school for a while. I'd say just challenger scenes and just playing at the highest level. I think I had the most experience, so just giving my teammates insight and how the guys at the highest level play, what it takes to be at that level, what it takes to win in that aspect, just to be better teammates and better players. Uh, Ice right now, yeah, for sure. Ice, like I said, he's been playing for a while. He's been on this team for a while at the school, so he definitely is the Iceman. He's played more S&D than all of us. He's our sniper, so yeah. If it's 1v1 on the line, round 11, game 5, oh yeah, I'm trusting Ice. He's winning it for us. My biggest habit probably trying to make hero plays sometimes when it's not needed. Definitely trying to like do a 1v2 or do a crazy play that like it's probably not needed in the situation. No matter the level of talent, sometimes I just shouldn't do the play whether I win it or lose it. I think that probably my it will hurt the team in certain scenarios. Um, I've grown to become a player now. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, teammate plays bad. What I'm saying? You just, trust them to be better next time. I really just, nowadays, I just take most of the blame myself because if a teammate underperforms, as a main sub, I used to think of it if I'm not helping my teammates get more kills or get in better situations, then it usually falls on me. That's just how I think of the game. The main sub basically controls the map, hitting the routes or being annoying. So like, if I'm not doing my job, sometimes I might be hurting them. Success for myself, I would say just to have a better year than I had last year. Uh, I would get this is my fourth year competing in challengers and just Call of Duty in general. So each year, my goal is just to have a better year than I did last year. We were one of the best teams in college last year. I competed at a couple of lands last year and didn't place too well. And at the end, I placed higher. So this year, be just to place higher than I did last year and have a better college season than I did last year. I'd probably say I'll be fading because I'm not on a such high roster right now. So people not gonna be looking at us because they really don't know the three of my teammates at all. Uh, so that'd be probably the biggest thing. Because, like I said, I had a good year last year. We were one of the best programs. So, like, now, program is not as high as my other teammates were. So, that'll probably be my biggest thing right there. Uh, I would say my comms, definitely. Getting more information on the map, making sure I'm calling out names, making sure I'm telling people what to do in certain scenarios, or just telling someone, yo, rotate with me or hit this with me in that aspect. Also, just helping my teammates learn new things, finding out information that they probably don't know, new spots on the map, new nade spots, and things like that. I think Ruin, he definitely surprised people. So far, he's having a little slow start in the beginning because he hasn't played with another sub that's been that fast paced. So him just adapting to that, learning that he don't gotta, hero play and just you can play your role, sit in the corner or run some stuff down in certain situations. I think he definitely surprised people this year. I hope I'm still competing. That would be my goal. Hope I'm still competing. Hopefully at the pro level, if not, doing challenges here and there, and still around in the scene. Whether it's that like hosting eight tourneys or just coaching or giving my expertise and advice to whoever needs it.
Yeah, I'm Caleb Watson. I'm from Massachusetts, specifically Western Massachusetts, kind of out in the sticks. I'm studying psychology, and my in-screen name is Melon. I think Call of Duty's already like always been a part of my life. It may not have been, I'm competing on a collegiate team, but I always took it somewhat seriously. But if we're going before the collegiate team, well, I was, just up in Massachusetts. I graduated high school in 2019 and decided to not go to college, and so I entered the workforce, and for like 3 to 4 years out of high school, I was working at just random menial blue collar jobs. Like I was a security guard for a little while, and then after that, I worked at a warehouse, and I kind of got sick of working those jobs, so I moved into construction and. Was actually an apprentice carpenter slash apprentice general contractor. Um, and I did that for a little while before ultimately realizing that it was probably in my best interest to go back to school. So at the age of 23, like right before I turned 24, I enrolled at Mount Wachusett Community College in Massachusetts, and I did a semester, 2 semesters there before ultimately finding Keiser and joining Keiser. That was absolute pure chance of finding Keiser. I had started to uh, more seriously compete in Call of Duty at the start of Black Ops 7. I was on a team that we were trying to compete in the Challengers Cups, and that really wasn't working out how I wanted it to. And so I was just going through looking for people looking for teams, and happened to see Coach Roman's. I see your message in the COD competitive subreddit, and from then I DM'd and just kind of snowballed from there. It happened so quickly. I still kind of feel like my life just kind of turned on a head and went 180 degrees in the other direction. But it just snowballed from talking about it to, oh, this might be a thing, to, okay, now I'm talking with admissions and financial aid, and I'm getting enrolled, and I'm going through tryouts, and then I'm going through more tryouts, and then, oh, I made the team, and now here we are. It's still kind of wild to me. It's still, like, I can't believe it sometimes. I think I'd known that I was pretty good at COD for quite a while, but I think that along the way, I got to an age of where I was like, I don't think I'm quite good enough to like make this my life. And I might be a little too old to start trying to do that. And so I kind of just kept it as a primary hobby. But I think as soon as I had talked to you and there was mutual interest in me joining Keiser and you having me join Keiser, I think I kind of got the feeling that I'd be a pretty good fit, especially once I got into the tryouts and I was like, I think I can do this. I think it's not just one thing, right? I think that obviously first and foremost it's time. Not just the fact that we scrim throughout the week and then have matches on Friday, which is a decent chunk of time, but also like I can't just scrim and expect to compete at the highest level at my best. I have to be on the game throughout the week for multiple hours, trying to improve, grinding, trying to improve. So time first and foremost, and I think it stems like everything stems from time. So like everything else, like time is money, right? And money is time. And so finding time to do my schoolwork, finding time to spend time with my girlfriend, to cultivate that relationship, finding time to go to work, finding time to spend with my family. It's all about that time management and what like taking bits and pieces to be able to fill the gap that I need to for the team and for COD. For me personally, honestly, I think it'd just be validating to myself. I've always loved COD and I've always loved competing, and that doesn't have to be just Call of Duty. I competed in many sports throughout high school. Most of my hobbies nowadays revolve around some form of competition. I just like competition. I think that if we were to have that type of season you just described, it would be validating to me that I'm at that level, that I'm not wasting my time, that I'm not, obviously you have to have the confidence in yourself to go out and compete, but also like you have to have the humility to admit your mistakes. And sometimes with humility, self-doubt creeps in of like, am I good enough to go out and do what I think that I can do? And I think that having that type of season would really validate like, no, I am that good. We are that good as a team. This is worth it. This is what we're working towards. And it would just like really be able to see all of that come to fruition. I don't know if I lose anything. I think I gain something, and I just gain hunger. I feel like I'm already hungry, and I feel like having that type of season would really just drive me to be the absolute best that I can. Not that I don't already feel like that, but I can't even imagine having that sort of season, what that would do to me mentally in terms of my desire to be better. Although now that I'm saying that, it does make me realize that that kind of mentality, and if I was to adopt that mentality, I could see myself harming my relationships with people outside of COD, because I assume that I would be taking a lot of time from the other categories that I described in a couple answers ago. Oh, this is the best. This is everything that I could have possibly asked for. I was so excited to have a coach going into this. Honestly, it was one of the big reasons that I wanted to join Keiser, is to have a coach. I've never been coached in COD before. Everything that I am as a player right now, or, a couple weeks ago, was just me learning to play on my own, watching YouTube, watching pros, etc. Like, it was just me. Having a coach to be able to watch our gameplay and point out mistakes that we're making on the map or things that we're not doing together as a team, to go over the VOD with us and be like, okay, why are we doing this here? Why are we doing this here? Why are we doing this here? Oh, it's the best, because there's only so much that I can look at through my own eyes. when I make a decision in game, I understand why I made that decision. I made that decision based on what I'm thinking. It's very hard for me to go look back at that decision and see something else that I could have taken, because it's not, it's like it's the same perspective as I had in game. But having that outside voice to go, yeah, you could have just done this, it's huge. That additional perspective that's also far more knowledgeable than I am. It's everything. And I guarantee you that I'm going to be a miles better Call of Duty player at the end of the season than I was at the start of the season, just because of that coaching. I feel like I'm already a better COD player in this 3 weeks that we've been scrimming because I have a coach. Oh, and to add on, Benz is a fantastic coach. That dude has tons of COD knowledge, and his coaching style is pretty dang good. Oh, Ruin, 100%. Easy. I think Zay's already kind of a known quantity, him competing in challengers. ICEE, I know in the college COD scene, is absolutely known. I mean, he's got a gold medal. Ruin, I know he competed last year, right? But not on the cross campus team. I think I love the way that he plays the game. I think once he gets used to playing at this level, and same thing for me. Once he like really dials in the timings that he's taking and the routes that he's taking, and he's got it like really locked in and dialed in, he is going to be a menace on the map. That dude is gross. You know, I had always loved COD, and I always kind of dreamed of having COD be the main focus of my life, but I just along the way kind of thought that I wasn't really going to be able to make that work. And being at Keiser and competing on the COD team for Keiser has kind of revitalized that dream of mine. And so at the end of the day, what do I hope to be doing? Or where do I hope that COD is fit into that? I'm not entirely sure, but I know that I'm gonna try and take every opportunity I can to make it the thing in my life. Whether that's still competing, whether that's coaching somewhere, whether that's casting it, I don't know. But I do want to take this opportunity and run with it and try and see if I can ingrain myself into COD.
Hi, my name is John Bannock. My gamer tag is ICEE. I'm from a small town in New York called Dunkirk, New York, and I'm studying video game design and animation. So before Call of Duty was a big part of my life, I was working at my mom's factory. We produced a lot of chocolate and stuff like that, and I was studying biology at Nova Southeastern University, and then the pandemic hit, and I went home. I was working full time, and then I decided to start playing Call of Duty. It'd always been like a passion of mine. I was playing a lot of sports during high school, so like the competitive nature always, like it was always a big side of me, I guess you could say. So I decided to go back to school for video game design, and then I got offered a scholarship by the previous coach of the school, and I just wanted to continue doing what I was doing and competing at a higher level. So I really started grinding the game, and that's kind of how Call of Duty became like a serious thing for me. Just like that competitive sports in high school and all that stuff, like all that rolling into one kind of created like the passion for playing. So that kind of came into play when I first got to Keiser. I was just on a super small scholarship there trying to get people for the team. We were playing in like really bad leagues because like it was just a campus team. Our campus team was really, really bad, but I was doing really good, and I didn't think the people we were playing against were like good at all. And I always wanted to like see how, if I put some time into it, how good I could get, how smart I could be playing the game, and how much better I could be than the other teams were playing, especially like going to school full time and wanting to represent your school and like play well. That kind of lit a fire under me to like understand what's happening better and to shift my attention a different direction to like getting better at the game, and just playing those other schools, realizing like that some of the people, like most of the people we're playing aren't even that good, and wanting to like get into the higher leagues. So I was trying to do everything I could to like propel myself to like get our school into like one of the higher tiers within the COD bracket or whatever. Honestly, playing COD has cost me a lot of more personal time, and that's been a big point of contention like this past maybe year or so, because when you're playing so much and you're trying so hard to win, and you know you're playing every day to get better, and then you just lose out to some stupid stuff at the end of the season, or you don't make it as far as like your team's potential in playoffs, it kind of messes with your head a bit and makes you want to not play anymore, because it's like you'd rather have some personal time or better time to like develop relationships in your life, look forward to job opportunities after school, especially since I'm so close to graduating. But now that we have a very 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 solid team, it's like kind of letting that fire and like really making me want to like get as much good practices in as I can, but also make sure that I'm not just playing COD 24/7 when we're not in practice, because you pretty much have to learn the game, and once you like learn the basics of COD, you can transition that to the next game. So it's about getting enough reps and stuff like that, but I also don't want to burn myself out only playing Call of Duty and just doing my homework and that's it, you know? Like I actually want to take time to like look forward to the next things and all that stuff. So I think a lot of people overlook how smart I am, if that makes sense, at Call of Duty. A lot of people don't realize the reason my teammate was killing them last year and they thought they were so good, it's because I was telling them exactly where they were spawning, exactly where to look, who we were missing. And I think that got overlooked a lot, um, especially based off my role, like kind of holding spawns, rotating, like all that good stuff, like doing a lot of dirty work on an AR. I think that everyone just looks at stats, and I'll have really good games, but like other than that, no one really remembers playing against me. They remember people on my team, but I don't think they realize that I'm the one doing a lot of enabling of those people on my team. That definitely would mean a lot, especially because that would mean that like even though we won a chip in Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 6, I thought we had a really good roster and we were going to go a little bit further than we did. So I put a lot of extra time in outside of practice to get good at the game, to be smart, all that stuff. And we kind of fell short in CCL last year, and we also fell really short in ECAC playoffs this past season. So that was kind of hard on me. Like I felt like I wasted a lot of my time, honestly, because I was like, in my head, I'm like, if we're going to go out at this point, why did I just grind the game that much and give everyone the information they needed to make the right decisions, and we just still didn't? It's like, kind of what's the point? So winning a chip at the end of this year, or this season rather, would feel really good and mean that like long term I didn't waste my time, and that would mean a lot to me. Oh, this is a good question. I think number one thing that I contribute to the team is, other than Zay, I'm kind of the only like veteran player, like veteran that's played for multiple years inside the CCL and ECAC and all those other leagues. So I think that gives me a lot of perspective on what to expect when we scrim other teams, what we can expect for match days, because it's a lot different than challengers. It's a lot different than certain other things that like most COD players play, and kind of showing everyone how to be professional, because you still are representing your school at the end of the day. You can't just be screaming and swearing at every other person. Like you can, but like honestly long term that doesn't reflect well in your school, because your school's the one, you know, supporting you. So it's like you want to I'm trying to give those guys a different viewpoint on it, and also give them a lot of tips and tricks on how these school things are going to go, what other teams do to like try to check you out of and just like mentally break you down. Like every single league you play in, someone will ask you 30 minutes before to reschedule, and then you reschedule them, and one of your teammates comes in and he just got off like a 12-hour shift, he's tired as hell, and then you lose, and it's like, well, we should have just taken the forfeit win because like they couldn't be there. And it's just those little things like really like weigh on you when you make that mistake the first time. So I'm trying to give these guys a lot of guidance to not make the same mistakes that we did at the beginning of our, well, me and my other teammates did at the beginning of our college competitive careers. Honestly, I don't want to just say Zay because he I've seen him in those situations, because honestly, I haven't seen Melon and I haven't seen Ruin in those situations. I've seen Ruin on the losing side of that last year in the playoffs when he was playing really, really well, and it wasn't his fault that they lost like an S&D map when he had like 15 kills. It wasn't his fault at all, but I think everyone really has good potential to be a good player in those high pressure situations, because we put no pressure on each other. Like if someone has a bad map during scrims, no one holds it against them, no one thinks any differently. So it creates that atmosphere to like actually have a lot, like be able to perform in those high pressure situations, like, and not thinking about outside things. But if I had to pick one, I'd definitely say Zay for now. The mentality that our team had towards matches and games and stuff like that. And when I say that, I'm talking about like after a match and we lose, kills are the only thing looked at. You got slammed, you got smoked, like in your, like I'd be like 26 and 26. We'd have a play on our team 44 and 20, another play on our team 18 and 20, another play on our team 30 and 24. We outslayed them by a lot of kills and we lost. And the only reason that we think we lost is because we didn't get a kill here, we didn't get a kill there, and it's just we're making like actual fundamental mistakes, not communicating properly. Like comms are one of the biggest things that I stress myself on, and something as small as being able to talk while you're shooting your gun, a lot of people can't do that. You'd be very surprised. And you getting information to your team faster helps a lot, and it's really frustrating to tell people and point things out in VOD and spend time going over in VOD and then making the same mistake. So it's just that was really, really frustrating. YYing. I YY so much. And you could actually like go through and look for it. The amount of times I barely get killed YYing, being ready for a gunfight. But in S&D, I don't use sound EQ. I don't use all that stuff. Like I just can't, like I can't be that tuned into every little noise around the map. But a lot of people that we play are, and I know that people have heard me when I'm making a really, really good play, YYing and like coming back around the map. And that's one thing I need to break, but it's just one of those ADHD things in me that I just can't, you know what I mean? I have to, but I'm trying. Yeah, so YYing is when you're running on the map, you're just double tapping Y on your controller, and it just makes your gun go up and down, and it just like looks cool. So that makes a small noise in this game, and it's definitely gotten me killed in S&D rounds because I'm making a really good play and someone just hears me from halfway across the map, hears my gun clicking, and it just gets me killed. Definitely a student that plays Call of Duty, unfortunately. If you would have asked me a year ago, I would have said it the other way around. But I'm good at the game, don't get me wrong. But I don't know that many people in the competitive COD scene outside of school, because I've really focused on like the school aspect of it. I haven't had time to hedge my time into challengers, school, and college and all that, and make every practice, so I just haven't. So I think I could place pretty well in challengers, like honestly, if I had a team with everyone around my skill level. I haven't had that opportunity, so that's why I would say I'm a student that plays COD right now, because I'm 2-3 months away from graduation at this point, and everyone always talks about how hard it is to find a job, and so I've really been focusing a lot of time into either continuing at Keiser with my master's after this if I can't find a job. But I think student has to come first right now because of the situation that I'm in. I'm not going pro, So I want to be able to use my degree for something. Oh, for me personally, it's success is being the smartest person on the map at all times. So, for example, T-Ben's our coach always talks about having this internal map in your head, where all 8 players are on the map. Obviously, you, your teammates, and the other 4 people on the team. I've always prided. I never explained it that way before I met him, but I always prided myself on knowing how other people are going to play things in certain situations. So, if I see someone here or I hear a call out from my teammate, I can process all the information that's happening around me and in front of me, behind me, whatever, at one time. And then I can use that to know where someone was called out. And then based off that, where they're going to go. If they're not there at that certain time, I know they went somewhere else and I'm already looking at that specific thing. And getting those little kills on the map on someone that was pinching that everyone else on the team forgot about and being the one to pick that up, like, really makes me feel good about, like, just being a smarter player than everyone. That's a really good question. Honestly, I think my career being ignored entirely because there's been a lot of moments, like I was talking about earlier, there's a lot of moments where I've had really, really clutch situations happen. I've clutched a lot of, like, 1v2s, 1v3s, 1v4s, like, in the actual, like, CCL, in ECAC, all that stuff. And anytime we play any of those teams, anytime we play any of those teams from last year, everyone's always like, oh, we're playing this player or that player, like, and their team, and no one ever recognizes me for what I've done. So I think that would kind of sting a little bit, that even though we beat all these teams, no one ever recognizes me for the impact that I had on the map, you know? Well, he has a lot of knowledge about COD, how teams work. He's been there, done that. So it's really nice to not have to have 4 players on a team debating the entire season on how to play one scenario, the game entirely for one, but like a certain scenario, like one person thinks it should be done this way, one person thinks it should be done that way, one person thinks it's very exhausting, and it's so much easier for me to make a decision for my coach just to tell me, hey, don't do this again, or this was a really good play here, and I internalize those things and I either just don't do it again, or I just make a different play the next time, or make the same play that I've been doing, and it just makes it, like, that much easier to get better at the game faster. Oh, Ruin, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. He was passed over for cross campus last year, unfortunately. I don't think he should have been, personally, even though he didn't play super well in tryouts, but this last season I was going to Lakeland for most of my ECAC matches, and I had a lot of time to meet him, learn, talk to him personally, and play with him, play against him in warm-ups and all that stuff. And in one day before his last playoff match, I literally taught him in one day how to clear corners and fix his centering, and an S&D, like, if he gets a kill, turn around, look at a doorway. He literally soaked that up in one day and improved his KD by like 0.5 to the next match. Even though they lost that playoff match, he'd been playing like really average on Search. I literally took 2 hours and watched VOD with him. He played Protocol and dropped 15 kills. He is going to be very good, and now that he has an actual coach to coach him and a full season of reps with people that are probably better than him right now, he's going to learn so much, and all he wants to do is learn. He has no ego. He's going to surprise everyone. I promise he's going to be three-piecing people left and right. Well, honestly, Call of Duty's been a really big inspiration for me for my career in video game design. I've met probably a couple hundred players, talked to them personally. Everyone complains about the game, you know? And my roommate and I are making a game right now. It's first-person shooter, all that good stuff. But we've taken a lot of inspiration from what Call of Duty's done as a company. And we know what players want, what they don't want. So it's taught me a lot about integrating that into when I'm making games, is really listening to the player base, all that stuff. And then obviously Call of Duty might fit in. I'm going to be playing, it's probably when I get home from work in my free time, you know, every once in a while, getting on, just slamming people. But other than that too, if I don't get a job right away, I'm gonna wait like 2 months and then hopefully come back for my master's if I don't get a job right away. So that would be another probably year and a half of COD. So that's kind of what I have to look forward to, and it would 100% be a Keiser. So it's either that or just taking really good inspiration from it for my career.